Hey Guru Nation, welcome back to the clinicaltrialsguru.com. Check this out, alright? This is for the research sites out there, but it could be useful information for anyone who's interested. Maybe if you're gonna start a site soon, and this is really for the research naive sites, so the beginners. How to spot scams in clinical research. So, first of all, scams are not very common, but there are people out there that will take advantage of you if you're naive, if you don't know what's going on. I mean, in any industry. So, in clinical research, no different. There's some shady people out there. Again, the majority of people in this industry are great. There's way too much business going around to pull off too many scams. It's not an environment that fosters a lot of scammy stuff. But here and there, you get into some issues sometimes. I've seen it. I didn't almost fall for it, but even when I was early off, I mean, it's common sense. A lot of these things you'll see are common sense, but I know some people that have fallen for it, and they learn the hard way. So, number one, paying for anything except equipment. So, if you're a site and someone approaches you to give you a study, okay, everything's good so far. You're probably excited. This is great. You know, you just started your clinic. You're glad you got a study. And then they say, well, now you have to pay us $5,000 so we can get the IRB to approve your site. I literally just saw this a couple months ago with one of my new clients. Luckily, they were our clients. We told them, no, this scam, don't do it. All right? So, that's a scam. Or maybe they say, hey, you got a study, but you need to pay in advance for labs or for a startup fee. That's not the way it works, right? The sponsor is supposed to pay you for that. The sponsor is supposed to pay you for the IRB if you're using a local IRB, which most do not. Most use central IRBs. Then you don't even see, there's nothing for you to do with the IRB when it comes to payments. That's the CRO pays for the IRB, or the sponsor pays for the IRB if you're using a central IRB. If you're using a local IRB, you do have to pay them, but that's just hospitals and universities, and those are pass-through costs. So yes, you pay it up front, but then you invoice it to the sponsor and they'll pay you back. Alright, so pay attention to that. Never pay for anything except your own equipment. Obviously, if you don't have an ECG machine and one is not provided, you're going to need to buy one. You need to have basic equipment in your clinic to do the study, but never pay for any filing fee, license fee. Those are scam, scam, scam. Okay? Number two, billing patient insurance. We saw this one a year ago at many of our sites. Anytime, with the exception of cancer studies, because cancer studies, they are allowed to bill patients' insurance because they're expensive treatments, and they're treatments in those cases and studies, all right? But in everything else, I've never, ever seen a study or accepted a study where they're requesting the patient's insurance to be billed, okay? Those are scams. I did an hour-long podcast on this with someone who came from this world and saw how these people operated. So they'll create like a phase 4 survey study. It'll be on clinicaltrials.gov, but then they're not really studying anything. All they're doing is they're ordering all these unnecessary lab tests, genetic tests. There's all kinds of stuff that they're ordering, and that's great. I mean, that's everything so far is fine. You can study anything you want, but the catch is the patients have to have insurance, and there's a very circuitous route in which the patient is not insured, that they will pay for it somehow or that they'll reimburse them. Doesn't happen. It never works. Don't fall for it. Those are scams. Your patients should never be billed, much less for unnecessary procedures, and your doctor can even get in trouble for doing this. So don't accept a study where they bill your patient insurance, unless of course it's oncology. That's a totally different ball game there. Number three, asking for a list of your patients. So it's very common, don't get this confused, with a sponsor or CRO asking to see your database that's de-identified, or asking for a log, a pre-screening log, again, de-identified, so no identifying patient info. That's fine, and that's every now and then they'll ask you for that prior to site selection. They just want to make sure that you have the patients you say you do so you can start enrolling. That's not a scam. What's a scam is they're going to give you a study, and now before, like, thrown in the middle of all these regulatory documents, is a form where they want you to list the patient's names, phone numbers, date of birth, social, whatever you want to put on there, and send it to them. And so they're acting like it's a pre-screening log, but really what they're doing is they're putting them in their own database, and then you're never going to get that study. I've seen this happen recently as well. Okay, number 4, not being the payee. So unless you made a prior arrangement with someone, this is common with SMOs, we have a few clients that don't want to pay us a monthly retainer fee. So in exchange, we're the payee for the studies we bring them, and then we pay them 90% of the contract. But we're the payee. That's not a scam, obviously. I'm not running a scam. That is a prior arrangement that's been made. Brokers do that oftentimes, but if you don't know that you're not going to be the payee, and then you get the contract to sign, and you realize that you're not the payee, another group is the payee, well, you might be getting scammed, so make sure you pay attention to that when you get the contract and the budget. You've got to be the payee, unless you made prior arrangements with someone. Number 5, if you can't find the study on clinicaltrials.gov. So if you find a sponsor with a weird name, a small sponsor that's not a household name, look it up on clinicaltrials.gov. If you have a protocol number, even better, look it up on clinicaltrials.gov or a protocol title. If you can't find it there, a lot of red flags would be going off, right? So that's an easy one. My favorite website, clinicaltrials.gov. Look them up there, see who they are. You can do some research and due diligence. When in doubt, ask. Ask somebody who knows. Ask me. Ask a colleague. Do a Google search with that company followed by scam and see what comes up. You'll be surprised, all right? Thank you very much for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.